I love to gallop. It makes me feel free.
When we were put on these reservations, one of the things that was taken away from us was our horse, our ability to hunt. The boarding school era and what it had done to our relatives and how it had broken our circle, and some of the things that were manifesting today that we see in our communities are suicide, alcoholism, drug abuse, and other violence and things like that. We live in a culture of poverty here. We have a lot of land here, but we have no planners to develop housing units and to get our people living on their lands. We're crowding. We have crowding housing situations. We have no running water, no electricity. The guys that do the EMS service, the ambulance service, they say this reservation is just like any major city. They see everything. Every kind of accidents, assaults, victim cuts, everything, it's all here. I haven't always lived here, and I've been in a great deal of trouble before, and I have a past, you know, and I don't let that past interfere with me, but sometimes it does. And in the past, you know, I think it's been after 9/11 there. After that, sometime I moved back here to the reservation. I was living in Casper, Wyoming, and shortly after that's when I went on my last alcohol binge. I think that was like 2001 or something. So I've been clean off alcohol for quite some time, and you know, we have other drugs here that are pretty prevalent too. There's marijuana, and there's meth, and there's even some cocaine around here, believe it or not. So I've had my run-in with meth too, and being an addict to meth, and that just, it could have took everything away from me. But you know, I had to come to my senses at some point and say, if I want the best life for my children, then I have to live it, because wherever I'm going to be, that's what they're going to be. People that are depressed, that are hurt, that are angered, they have a higher probability of committing suicide than people that talk about their problems and go seek help. A lot of our guys are guarded. They're protected because they're scared, because they don't want to tell anybody what's wrong, because they think they're going to get in trouble. And so we need to pull that wall away, and so they can be open and ask for help. And just this little part of expressing themselves, we give them that opportunity to say their problems and their help and their needs and ask for help. And I've been at some low places in my life where I felt like people would have been better off without me, you know. And even the ones that I truly loved, they to me, in my mind, what was going on, it wasn't my pain wasn't real, but I knew that they loved me. It's just, to me, it was, my mind wasn't working right, and it was saying they'd be better off without you. And so within our context, I told our people, that our children, that it's all around us. Suicide is happening all around us, and that it affects all of us when that happens. And so we can't allow that to happen. And some people have taboos that you can't talk about it, but times are changed now, and it's a different life, the way we live today than the way we used to live. The way we used to live, we used to talk to each other and talk and work together and do things. It's been a rough road, but I've been in this field for about 7 years, and come since 2010 of June. And my stepfather, he'd taken his life, and like the first or second week of January of 2000. Let's see, when was that? 2010. So my stepdad, I seen how even though him and I had butted heads, and we never saw eye to eye on some things, but some things we really got along. But I saw how whatever pain he must have been feeling was passed on to my family, and indirectly it affected everyone. So when the opportunity came to be able to try to help people with suicide, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say to them, or how can I help them? I really didn't know anything about it. I knew what it was like. I have to give the credit to my brother Stanford Addison, who was quadriplegic, and he loved horses. He grew up on horses, same as I did, and he got in a car wreck, and he broke his back, so he was paralyzed. And then, but he was a great listener because he couldn't really do much he depended on people to care for him, and people went to him to tell him their problems, and he listened to them and helped them, prayed with them, and he had a weekly sweat, which was cool. It'll burn your hide right off your skin, but it was good. And then from that, we got together, and he wanted to ride his horses. He had Arabian horses, and they're really a different breed of animal, but they're really nice. And so he worked in his wheelchair. He worked with the kids and taught them to do everything themselves. And so out of that, we created this program. And we originally we took them in the sweat, and we checked in the sweat. We didn't have like the group we had, the numbers we have now. But we had maybe 10 to 20 kids. And so he prayed in the sweat, and then we all sat in the sweat lodge, and then everybody checked in how they felt and how the day was. And then we went out and rode horses. But it wasn't as organized and as structured as we have it today. But so that's the premise of this whole project. The thing with the horses, they eat, they never stop eating. They're always eating. And so with our families have land here, and they all have horses out there, but they don't do nothing with them. And I don't know why, because we live in a fast world, I guess. And we just want to be constantly moving. And so with horses, you have to slow down and be with them. And horses listen to us all the time. And they have a higher conscious level than we know. And they know how we feel. They know if we're afraid, they know if we're angry, they know if we're happy. And so we have that connection with them. For my program, it's a suicide prevention program. And we're using the horse to reconnect our relatives. As a coordinator of this program, I believe that culture is the key to healing. Culture is prevention. So with the horse, we're reconnecting that bond that was taken from us, and we're reinstilling the identity of the Arapaho people, and with their language, with their horse culture. And we're hoping that we're building on some protective factors that will make them, our youth and all of our families here, more resilient. So when they're faced with stress or problems, they can cope with them on a healthy level and be well. Wellness is the key. We want that for all of our relatives. We're off. And we park inside the arena with the horse trailer and unload the horses in there, and everybody will come in. And we warm up the horses before. Let's go. Come on.
What it means to me is our people could get healing from it, and it teaches the young ones how to get a voice and learn the way our ancestors did to ride horses. It's a good thing because it helps other people who need healing and need to get their voices out and are struggling. Because what we do there is we start with a prayer and then round up and say how we feel. It's sometimes the issues that are brought up can involve like a bully at school, schoolwork being hard, and other issues too, like home life. When we are circled up, they usually, when we ask how everybody feels, they do bring it up and address it, and we listen and we add support to them by telling them what they could do. We do this too when others talk about depression too.
And we offer their help, offer our help to all of them at the end of the session. And they see us in the community and then they can help us and they can call on us. Because we spread the message of living a sacred, precious life, long life. And without anybody telling them, we plant that seed for them to live to be 80 years old, which is a few years beyond 50. So all these things, they don't seem like much, but they're little seeds that we plant in them, that we're giving them. And life is what we make it. We can choose how we want to live, but for that short time, we show them how to live. Whether they know it or not, they're getting it. So that's what's so good about this with the traditional methods and our ways that we have. They're still powerful and they're still alive and well, and they still work. And so we talk about that all the time in different contexts. And as the kids ride, whether we're leading them or riding with them, we talk to them. Our horse handlers talk to them, ask them their age, how they're feeling, how they're doing, what's going on with them. And so it's just not nothing. It's a whole, as the therapy model would say, it's a whole therapeutic event.
For we who are gathered here because we know that you love us so much. For especially the young ones here, because they are the future that you have entrusted us with. So, great Creator, may you fill us with all that you want us to be, and may we be kind and gentle to others in all things. Amen.
Sitting on Rigo. I'm glad to be here. Hoping to watch the kids.
Well, we want them to come with their parents, to be the connection with their parents and the family.
It's built her confidence. She's not afraid anymore, so it's really helped her a lot.
How long has she come?
Since the beginning of summer when it started, yeah, she really looks forward to coming over here, and there she is right there.
I come here to see my kids ride, and it's inspiring.
Do they like to ride?
Yes, they love to ride.
And use themselves?
Yeah, it's actually like a connection with the horse and them, so they feel good after they ride. Yeah. Overall, is just seeing my kids happy. Yeah, and it's part of the tradition, the native ways to interact with animals and nature. So it brings happiness to me, and it helps a lot with my kids' minds to open up spiritually. So that's what my favorite thing is, to see my kids happy.
This young energy and smiles around here.
I bring my mother's foster kids, and she has about 4 or 5. And then I bring my own kids and my nieces and nephews, so I bring a lot of kids.
Oh.
Yeah, they love it. Especially some of these foster kids, they really took to it. They really like it. Okay, I love these horses. They all have a certain way to make you feel. You know, you feel bad, and even just leading them, if I have to lead, I'll have a bad day or something. If I just lead them, it just makes me feel good, you know.
It makes me feel tall.
Yeah.
Like, makes me feel like I'm growing.
Uh-huh.
Like I am already though. They had lemonade at dinner. And
You are Arapaho or
Arapaho. It's fun. It's just a little embarrassing if they do their business. You know what I mean? And yeah, all you gotta do is just ignore that and not be scared. Just be happy. Just be happy and just have fun.
I feel happy. My favorite thing is just being there. I don't know, I think it's cool. Because I never, yeah.
Had you ever ridden before?
Well, not really.
Anita ina Yahweh 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 Jina Habiha Yahweh Yahweh.
Well, this past year, it's been a year since we're filming last, and us and the horses and us and a few other of our family, we've been on a couple of rides. We've been with, we went on a Fort Laramie ride, and we represented the Arapaho people, our people, and that was also took part in another ride. It was the Battle of Little Bighorn Memorial Ride that we took part in. We took a lot of these horses here, and it was a powerful experience to put these horses before yourselves every day from morning to night. It was really good to see the kids that were all helping each other and participating and looking after one another. But it's all WOXHOOXEIBII. It's horse culture, horse way of life. And it's good to see everybody participating.
My boys like to ride, and they experienced a lot this summer doing the rides, the Fort Laramie ride and everything. And we rode in 4th of July parade. I did it, and I rode almost all the way through. Yeah, when my nephew Dante came home, he was all about the Lakotas, ready to move down there because all those Lakota women he met on his trip. We were talking about, because he's in 8th grade now, and we were trying to figure out where he was going to go to high school, where he wanted to go, everything. And that's why he said South Dakota. And I said, South Dakota? Why? And he's like, oh, all those Lakotas I've met, and there's a lot of Lakota ladies there, and just kept going on. And I was like, I'm not moving to South Dakota. But it was a good experience for him, He got to see some different tribes and meet different people.
I asked my son Angelo if he felt the spirits or anything like that with us, and how it affected him, and he said that they gave him courage and they gave him strength.
I've been riding on these memorial rides for the past summer, and because of riding with those rides, I've started to grow a bigger horse family, like the Northern Cheyenne and my relatives, the Oglala Lakota, and they even honored me and let me held their staffs while we rode. It was an incredible experience. Your role as a staff carrier is important because you have to lead the way.
Soldier, he came back, so they composed a song for him, Arapaho flag song. It talks about how that flag was still standing when in the morning. It was still standing. They couldn't knock that flag down.
Those rides, they really taught me something else. It's how simple life used to be as well when it came to riding horses and sticking together and having a good family. Because everyone was real talkative. We talked all the time, elders to youth, to yay high, to this high. Everyone worked together, even if someone was having trouble. How I felt on that day when I rode and had my face paint on and the headdress, I felt incredible. I felt powerful, and I felt really honored. And I'm glad I got to be picked for it and participate in it.
It's a sad thing. There's a story that was told to me by my grandma. That, you know, Custer, we had no choice but to kill him. Because all the things he was doing was just killing old people, women and children when they would leave. And that's wrong. That ain't right. That's wrong. And my grandma told me, said, when we had the battle of Little Bighorn, those horses cried all day. You could smell blood and dust. So those horses kept crying until it was over. You know, these horses, they know things. They know things. They sense things before they happen.
Hello, my name is Shiloh Blindman. I'm Northern Arapaho. Kind of had some tough battles in life, and they were always there, like through all the hardships, and no one to turn to. I could turn to a horse, and they would understand. You could just let all your emotions out with them. And my uncle Stanford Addison, he was quadriplegic, and he kind of took care of us all with horses, and like he kind of turned us the other direction from, say we were falling off the bad end and we really had no direction, and he would introduce us to horses, and he would kind of put it through people to get them connected. And it's kind of good. It's starting, like, horses are starting to come back to our tribe. For a while it was getting pushed away and people were turning to drugs and alcohol, and it's kind of good to see it coming back slowly. Like if you go to Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota, you can see like a lot of people just riding horses up and down the street. That's how they travel basically down there. Kids have fun on horses, and I hope it comes back here. We start all riding again and getting to know our four-legged bros, you know. What I have left to say is if you're ever going through some problems or feel like there's nowhere to turn, find someone with horses and try to connect, and they'll show you another direction. They'll make you feel better.
Traditionally, long ago, there used to be elders used to get up and talk at community gatherings and talk about life, talk how you live, talk how you raise your family, talk about how to behave, talk about how to practice. And now we don't have that anymore because alcohol came in, and when people try to do that, they discredit them and say, oh, they use alcohol. And so we need to get back to that and start having our young people talk that way, which is good. It's a good way.
Horse culture class would be an amazing journey, and it's gonna go very far in life, and it could heal someone if they wanted to hurt themselves. And horses have a powerful impact on you, so they'll help you if you need anything. You have to connect with the horse. I'm a very moody girl. To my brother, I'm growing a lot, so I'm very moody to him. I try to be nice. I pray for myself in the sweat. We go to a sweat lodge, and I say I'm okay with my dad. We have a very strong relationship. Horses connect my family together. You know, we can argue and we can always be family though. But the horses make us stronger as a family.